What is up, YouTube? So, I never intended on making this video, but here I am. I went to Mount Hood Meadows on Saturday, February 8th, with the intention of making another Snow Shack video, but I ended up wrecking. So, when I wrecked, I was somewhere in the private reserve Heather Canyon area near the Elk Cliffs, and me and my buddies roll up to like this small little cliff drop that I've never hit before. I'm pretty unfamiliar with that terrain back in there, but anyways, we roll up on this cliff. I spot my line. I look at my buddy on the left. I say, I'm dropping in. I drop in. I kind of wash out on my landing, heel side, and then somehow I get my back turned to the downhill. And at that moment, I knew I was exposed and I was in a horrible spot. And then right after that, things just went bing. I could have hit a tree. I honestly can't say for sure, but I tomahawked pretty good. And then I stopped tomahawking. My ears are ringing. My arms, the nerves in my arms are just like on fire, shaking, like that sensation you get when you hit your funny bone. Then I hear my homies yell, are you good? Are you good? And immediately I was like, no, come help me. I am not good. Immediately my leg was so locked up. I couldn't move my right leg. I knew I was not riding the rest of that run out. I knew ski patrol was gonna have to come and get me because I couldn't move my leg. My bell was rung pretty good. I got lit up. Lit the F up. So my homies immediately just charged down the mountain to go get a hold of ski patrol. One of my homies stayed with me to like make sure I was okay and just like talk me through the pain. And yeah, ski patrol eventually found me and they got me on the little toboggan me down to the parking lot, and then transfer me into their ski patrol vehicle or something, I don't know. And then they took me to the main parking lot where I went into the little triage unit they have there. Once I got to the triage, I was in excruciating amounts of pain. They gave me an IV, loaded me up with some drugs, took the edge off, and then I got an x-ray there to make sure my hip was out, and it was. And then after that, they just loaded me up with ketamine. I went to a different dimension, and they popped my hip back in. Some of the doctors I talked to said they read the report, and apparently it took 3 men to put my hip back in, and they were tossing me around and rolling me over and whatnot. Apparently it was pretty gruesome. I woke up from my ketamine trip laying in bed, and immediately I could feel my leg I could move it. So I was pretty sure my hip was back in. And I remember asking the people there, was my hip back in? And they replied, yes, we did it. And I was like the happiest moment of my life, even though I was still kind of miserable. So shortly after I woke up from my ketamine trip, I got an ambulance ride from Mount Hood to Legacy Emmanuel in Portland to the trauma unit, went to the ER. I was feeling pretty good in the ER, thinking like, I think I'm gonna go home tonight. Like my leg is obviously bum, but I felt fine otherwise. Then they took a CT scan of my hip, and everything looked fine. Like no breaks in my femur or in my pelvis, and everything was like back in place as well as it could be. And the doctor just had a funny feeling, like because with the dislocation of the hip, it takes a ton of force to get your hip out, and usually there's other injuries involved. So then he took a CT scan of my chest, and that's when we found all the fractures in my back. And then it kind of started to set in like, oh shit, I'm gonna be here a while. I'm pretty messed up. I got a posterior dislocation in my right hip. I fractured the transverse process on my L1 through L5 in my spine, and I also fractured my T6 and 7 vertebrae. I bruised my lung pretty good. No broken ribs, no fractures in my femur or in my hip, just the fractures in my back. My spine was always stable, it's still stable, but I had horrible spasm pain in my back, and that's what was keeping me in the hospital for so long. I was in the trauma unit for 5 days, and then I got transferred to a nursing home for another 5 days. But I am on the road to recovery now, and my goal is to take a lap before the season ends. Almost every doctor I spoke to told me I'm done for the season, but I am very determined to prove them wrong. I've been working hard in PT. It's some of the easiest movements for a normal person, but it's like excruciatingly hard for me right now in my condition. So all of my upcoming videos are just gonna be me recovering. Probably won't be posting a whole lot from now until like June. But I'm gonna do the best I can. Hopefully in May, I'm gonna have a video of me riding skis at Mount Hood. I hope. This hasn't been easy. It's definitely the most pain that I've ever experienced and lived through. But I'm hard to kill, and I'm determined to get back out there. So big shout out to all the people at Mount Hood, the ski patrol, the doctors there at the triage unit that saved my life and put my hip back in place. And everyone at the hospital that helped me recover. Shout out to my nurses at Legacy Emmanuel Important, Nurse Jessie and Ardith, thank you. My OT lady, Tara, thank you. Shout out to Leslie, Scott, Wendy, Chris, Sonia, Brian, and everybody else that took care of me. You guys did a great job. I can't thank you enough. So thank you again to everybody at the hospital that took care of me, all my friends and family that came and visited me. It means a lot. Keep hucking out there. Keep sending it. I'm gonna get back out there and get revenge on that clip that almost took my life. Keep sending it.